Hello, class. It's now time for writing. We are going to be working on Poetry Unit Lesson 14. I'm going to provide you with two videos. The video that you are watching right now is going to be an introduction to the poetry tool of hyperbole, and as well as an introduction to the poetry form of a shape poem. This should prove to be a very fun assignment today. The other video that I'm going to share with you today is a video of a book that I'm going to read some samples of other shape poems. I'm going to read some shape poems and show you some more examples of shape poems. So both videos hopefully will help you out and give you a lot of information, and you will feel confident to write a shape poem, maybe using some hyperbole in the shape poem. Okay, so let's start off with hyperbole. Over here, hyperbole. What is hyperbole? Well, it's the use of over-exaggeration to create either emphasis or humor in a poem. So I provided a couple of examples for you here. The first example is a poem by Ralph Waldo Emerson about the American Revolution. And this is just a sample of the poem. It's not the entire poem by far. Here once the embattled farmers stood and fired the shot heard round the world. Now, you may have already heard about the shot heard round the world in some history lessons that you've had. Now, this is referring to the beginning of the American Revolution. Now, the use of hyperbole here, fired the shot heard round the world. This shot was definitely not heard in Australia or China or Antarctica, okay? What the poet is trying to do is say that this shot was extremely important. He's emphasizing the importance of this first shot, the beginning of the American Revolution. Okay, here's another sample here of the use of hyperbole. I'll love you, dear, I'll love you, till China and Africa meet, and the river jumps over the mountain, and the salmon sing in the street. This is a section of a poem by W.H. Auden. This poet is saying that he loves this person so much that he's going to love that person until China and Africa come together and bump into each other, which is very unlikely to happen for millions, billions, might not even ever happen at all, right? And also, he's going to love this person so much until the salmon start singing in the street. These little fishies are just going to be singing in the street. Obviously, a use of over-exaggeration to emphasize his love, and there's obviously a bit of humor in there as well. Okay, so two examples of use of hyperbole. Now, as you write your shape poem today, see if you can fit in to your shape poem some hyperbole. If not, at least try to use some hyperbole before our poetry unit is over. All right, today we have a shape poem. Now, a shape poem, you may need to write your shape poem out rather than type your shape poem out. More often than not, I have found that my student poets have needed to write out their poems. If you can please share with me a photo of your poem written out, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, if by chance you can type it out, then make sure you type it out in this document and share it with me as well. Either way, whether you take a photo of it or type it, I need you to make sure you turn in this document. All right, so a shape poem. What is a shape poem? Well, it's really cool. A shape poem is a poem which is shaped like the topic of the poem. The lines are often written to take the shape of this topic. Here's one example of a shape poem, right here. Shape poem. This is a shape poem. It is about a house. As a shape poem, it forms the shape of a house. This is a little house, so it would be a little poem if it were a poem, but it's not because a poet I'm not. Anyway, interesting how that poem is about both a shape poem and a little house. All right, now I'm going to share one more video. Like I said, I'm going to read some more examples of a shape poem, and I'll show you some examples of what they look like. I hope you really enjoy this assignment today. Make a great day and make a great poem.